Okay. I have Mr. Brian Williams. I'm reading here Mr. Deputy Mayor for Public Safety for Mayor Bass. Brian Williams will speak after me, and then thereafter Chief of Police Dominic Choi will speak. Then if you have any questions, if they're police related, we turn it over to the police. If they're prosecution related, we'll answer them for you. So as I said earlier, good afternoon. We're here to announce today that we have filed charges against 4 individuals connected with the events surrounding the tragic death of Johnny Wactor. I want to first of all thank the LAPD, LAPD Central Bureau Detectives, Homicide Detectives, and the entire police department for the work they did in this case. This was a difficult case, and I know there was a lot of work that was done in order to get us here today. Thank you. The 4 defendants in this case are Robert Barceleau and Sergio Estrada. They have each been charged with 1 count of murder, 1 count of attempted robbery, and grand theft. Leonel Gutierrez has been charged with attempted robbery and grand theft. The 3 defendants also face special allegations and aggravated circumstances of using a firearm in the commission of these crimes, and Mr. Barceleau also faces a special circumstances for murder during an attempted robbery. If convicted, Mr. Barceleau will be facing a life sentence without possibility of parole. Finally, Frank Olano has been charged with accessory to murder and receiving stolen property and 3 counts of being a felon with a firearm. On the morning of May 25, 2004, Johnny Wactor and his co-worker Anita Joy were walking to their cars after finishing their shift at the Moxie Hotel. As they approached their vehicle on Hope Street near Pico Boulevard, Johnny discovered that his car was being tampered with. As he approached his vehicle, he approached the vehicle, saw the 3 suspects. Mr. Barceleau allegedly shot Johnny in the chest, taking his life. This cowardly act led to the loss of a son, a brother, and a friend to many. The loss of this talented young actor who was in the prime of his life and had so much to offer to the world is deeply felt by all of us. Mr. Wactor's work and presence touched the lives of many in our hearts, and our hearts go out to their family, friends, and the entire community who mourn the devastating loss. I want to thank the Deputy District Attorneys from my Major Crimes Division who work in this case. They also work relentless to be able to be here today. And I also want to thank our Bureau of Victim Services and the dedicated victim service representatives who are currently working with the family and providing the resources that they need. I recognize that these charges are all but a small consolation to Mr. Wactor's friends and families. I hope that not only the charges being brought, but the support that we can continue to provide through our Bureau of Victim Services will continue to offer a small measure of comfort during these difficult times. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish now, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Williams. Buenas tardes a todos y gracias por estar aquí. Estamos hoy para anunciar que mi oficina ha presentado cargos contra 4 personas relacionados con los eventos que rodearon la trágica muerte del señor Johnny Wactor. Quiero agradecer primero que nada al jefe de policía Choi, al LAPD, a los detectives del Buró Central de Homicidios que trabajaron tan dificultosamente y tantas horas para poder llegar a que esta investigación resulte en estos cargos. De los 4 acusados, el señor Barceleau y el señor Estrada han sido acusados cada uno con un cargo de asesinato y uno de intento de robo y gran robo. Leonel Gutiérrez ha sido acusado de intento de robo y gran robo. Estos 3 acusados también enfrentan acusaciones especiales y circunstancias agravantes por el uso de un arma de fuego en la comisión de unos crímenes. El señor Barceleau también enfrenta circunstancias especiales del asesinato y del intento de robo. Si es declarado culpable, según lo acusado, Robert Barceleau sería condenado a cadena perpetua sin la posibilidad de libertad condicional. Finalmente, el señor Olano ha sido acusado de ser cómplice de asesinato y de recibir propiedad robada y 3 cargos por el uso de un delincuente con posesión de arma de fuego. En la madrugada del 25 de mayo de 2004, Johnny Wactor y su compañera de trabajo, Anita Joy, caminaban hacia sus autos después de terminar un turno de trabajo en el Hotel Maxi. Al acercarse a su vehículo en Hope Street, cerca de la calle Pico, Johnny descubrió que su coche estaba siendo manipulado. Al acercarse a su coche, ver a los tres sospechosos, el señor Barceleau presuntamente disparó a Johnny en el pecho quitándole la vida. Este cobarde acto resolvió en la pérdida de un hijo, hermano y amigo para muchos, en un solo instante. La pérdida de este joven actor talentoso que estaba en la plenitud de su vida y tenía tanto que ofrecer al mundo es profundamente sentido por todos nosotros. El trabajo y la presencia del señor Wactor tocaron la vida de muchos y nosotros y nuestros corazones están con su familia, amigos y toda la comunidad que llora por esta pérdida. Quiero también agradecerle a los fiscales adjuntos de mi División de Crímenes Mayores por su rápida acción en este caso. También quiero agradecer a mi Oficina de Servicios para Víctimas, cuyos representantes de servicio están dedicados para ayudar y apoyar a la familia y darle todo lo que ellos puedan necesitar. Reconozco que estos cargos son solo un pequeño consuelo para los amigos y familiares del señor Wactor, pero esperamos que no solo los cargos presentados, sino también el apoyo que podamos continuar brindando a través de nuestra Oficina de Servicios de Víctimas continúe a ofrecer un pequeño consuelo durante este tiempo traumático. Ahora le voy a dar el micrófono al señor Williams y después irá el jefe de policía. We're now going to turn over to Mr. Williams, then we'll have Chief Choi, and then we'll handle any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Gascón. Good afternoon. I'm Deputy Mayor of Public Safety Brian Williams, here on behalf of Mayor Karen Bass. Mayor Bass has been unequivocal about the need to hold those who are responsible for this brazen and heinous act fully accountable. When people commit violent crimes, they should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Mr. Wactor's death was a horrible, tragic loss, and it should not have happened. We offer our sincere condolences to Mr. Wactor's family and loved ones for their tragic loss. Our thoughts are also with all of those who are victims of violent crimes in our community. Accountability and justice must be upheld. That's why we're here today. Leading up to this, the mayor's office has been working behind the scenes and coordinating closely with the Los Angeles Police Department throughout the investigation. The mayor thanks the LAPD for their partnership and hard work on this case to bring us to this point and for their continued efforts to keep Angelinos safe and to bring justice to victims of violence. We will continue to work closely with our partners here today to prevent crimes before they happen and ensure that people both feel and are safe in our city. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. First, I want to express my condolences to the Wactor family, to his friends, and all those that knew him and that have been impacted by his tragic loss. Today, we stand before you to announce the significant progress in this case that deeply affected all of our communities. And as you've heard, on the early morning hours of May 25th, a son, a friend, an actor, and a community member, Johnny Wactor, he ended his shift as a bartender in a downtown local bar, and he was walking to his car. When he reached his car, he was senselessly shot and killed. What has ensued since that day is an ongoing and relentless pursuit by our Los Angeles Police Department's Central Bureau homicide detectives to identify and arrest those responsible for this heinous act. These homicides detectives processed the scene and collected evidence to include fingerprints and DNA. They reviewed hundreds of hours of video and authored almost 50 search warrants. Through these efforts, the suspects were identified. On Thursday, August 15th, with the assistance of undercover detectives and the department's Metropolitan Division, search warrants were served and all 4 suspects were arrested. This was a very difficult case. Our investigators worked tirelessly to gather evidence, interview witnesses, and follow every lead to ensure that no stone was left unturned. I'm pleased that the hard work, the patience, and dedication of our detectives has provided the District Attorney's Office with the facts needed to file the murder charges and the enhancements against those responsible. While this again was not an easy case for anyone involved, I'm confident that we have the right people on the right charges. I want to thank District Attorney George Gascon and his team for their partnership in filing these cases and holding these individuals responsible. The tragic and untimely death of Mr. Johnny Wactor has left a void not only in the hearts of his family and friends and fans, but also of the broader community. To the family and loved ones of Mr. Wactor, we know that no legal action can bring back the person you have lost, but we hope that today's announcement brings some measure of comfort in knowing that those who are responsible are no longer on the streets and not going to be able to hurt anyone again. Our hearts are with you during this incredibly difficult time. To the public, I want to thank you all for your ongoing support and cooperation during this investigation. Your assistance has been invaluable, and it underscores the importance of a strong partnership between law enforcement and the communities we serve. As we move forward, we remain committed to working with our communities to ensure that Los Angeles is a city where safety and justice will prevail. I want to thank you all for your time, and at this time, I'm going to hand it back over to District Attorney Gascon.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any questions for anyone? Yes, sir.
Sir, you mentioned accountability. So what does accountability look like? I mean, you mentioned only one of the defendants is facing possibly life imprisonment. What's the range for the rest of them?
Yeah, actually, that's not what I said. There are two that are facing life in prison. One, life without the possibility of parole. The other one, life without the with the possibility of parole. Those are the two individuals that are being charged with murder. There is an individual that is an accessory after the fact. He's facing significant prison sentencing. And then there is another individual that, let me see what the charge is against. So Mr. Olano has been charged with accessory for murder and receiving stolen property and 3 counts of being a felon with a firearm. Mr. Barceleau is facing life without the possibility of parole for murder. And then, let me see here. You want to jump here and help me out? Well, here we go. Okay. Yeah, Barceleau is being held without bail. Estrada is being held for $2 million, and I believe that's being increased as well, correct?
Yes.
And Olano's being held on $1,800,000, and he's the accessory case. Gutierrez is being held of $120,000 bail, and his charges are, let's see. What are the charges for Mr.? Yeah.
Attempted robbery.
Attempted robbery.
and Grand theft.
Yeah, attempted robbery and grand theft.
So if I may follow up, if I recall correctly, the search warrant had mentioned that the defendants or the suspects at the time were gang members. Why not file gang enhancement charges as well?
This is an ongoing investigation, and the work will continue as the prosecution continues.
Were they members of the Florencia 13 gang?
Again, this is an ongoing investigation, and we will continue to evaluate the evidence as we move forward.
Is that an LAPD question that we could ask them?
Perhaps, yeah, sure.
I don't know if, I'm going to ask my lieutenant of our homicide division to come over here and comment on that. I don't, again, as the district attorney discussed, this is an ongoing investigation. If there's anything pending that we don't want to publicly disclose to jeopardize the case, I want to make sure we have the right person answering those questions for you. So I'm going to have Lieutenant Ryan Rabbit from Central Bureau Homicide.
Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Ryan Rabbit. That's RyanRabbett.
Can you talk about their alleged affiliation with Florencia 13 gang? Because that's been out there.
Yeah. What we know is they are affiliated with Florencia 13 gang. To the extent I don't know. We're still digging into their profiles, their backgrounds, to find out exactly how far in or involved with the gang they are.
And I also heard that at least one of the suspects was recently on probation or parole and that was cut loose. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but can you talk about that?
I can't speak to their probation or parole status. All 4 suspects did have very lengthy criminal records.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, did they have any other pending cases and why were they free?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to answer that at this point.
When you say lengthy
What I mean by lengthy, multiple arrests for multiple offenses,
As juveniles too.
as juveniles as well, yes.
How did you catch them?
We're
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
If you can clear one more thing, what we're confused about.
I want to put something on the record. We are not commenting on any of the status or the history of these individuals. They are 18. Anything we're going to talk about prior to this incident would likely talk about their juvenile status, and we're not going to do that. Okay, I want everyone to know that right now.
So Chief, if I may, or Lieutenant, the 22-year-old, he's accused of taking stolen property, a catalytic converter. Is it Johnny Wactor's catalytic converter, or was it someone else's? I mean, was Wactor's
I don't know
catalytic converter ever stolen?
Yeah, that receiving stolen property is property separate than from this incident.
So the catalytic converter from this incident was never taken, is that correct?
No, it was an attempt at stealing that catalytic converter, but as far as the property, that was charges that we arrested him for based upon the search warrants.
Did they confess? Did any of them?
Yeah, I'm not going to speak at their comments.
And can you tell us which three were there that night?
The three that were there that night, at this point, we know it was Gutierrez, Barceleau, and Estrada.
Can you talk more in detail about how you were able to identify the 4 individuals charged?
Yeah, as the chief
Hold on a
said,
second.
yeah.
Listen, so today we're here to announce the filing, and this case still has to go to court. I don't want to jeopardize that for the family, for everybody involved, so I'm not going to allow my folks to get into any more detail about the investigation. I'm sorry.
Can you
So-
discuss the alleged role of each of the 3 men that were there that night, specifically the distinction between what Barceleau is accused of doing versus Estrada, since they're both charged with murder?
Those are details. Some of them are nuanced, and those will be things that we have to address in court. And so we're not going to do that here today.
So we can't speak about the distinction between the charges that Barceleau is facing versus Estrada?
Well,
Well,
I mean,
yeah, you can. I mean, one of them actually fired the weapon, the other one was there. Okay.
But then the third one doesn't also have that murder.
Right, but there are different levels of culpability. Again, all that will be discussed during the court proceeding. We want to make sure, look, folks, we want to hold these people accountable. Part of that is ensuring that we can get a successful prosecution. In order to get a successful prosecution, we must protect the evidence. And so it's not that the detective is being cagey or the police department. We just want to make sure that we do our work right. We're here to announce today that they were arrested. It was incredible work by the LAPD in order to get this arrest and provide the evidence that we needed in order to file the case. You will continue to see information coming out during the court proceedings, but we want to make sure that we protect that. Are there any questions in Spanish now?
Who fired the gun? Was it Barceleau?
It's the one with the yes, is it Barceleau? Yeah, Barceleau is the one that fired the gun. Any other questions in Spanish now? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Have they already been arraigned, and what did they plead?
They're being arraigned this
They're being
afternoon.
arraigned this afternoon.
Yeah.
Pregunta en español. Hay rumores de que, como son menores de edad, los padres los mandan a hacer el trabajo por ser menores de edad.
Mire, nosotros no podemos hablar de rumores, no sabemos lo que sucedió. Todavía esto es una investigación que está continuando. Ninguno de estos muchachos fueron menores. Todos son adultos, todos tienen de 18 años para adelante, o sea, sé que aquí no hubo ningún menor de edad. Okay. Thank you, everyone.